The stage is yours.
All right, awesome. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me and thanks for showing up today. I'm super excited to chat with all of you about Wells Fargo's internships and full-time opportunities. So we have lots of opportunities for students and for graduating seniors as you're preparing to finish up college and go on to your next step. So really excited to talk with you about all of our different opportunities. And I hope that you're getting some good pizza while you're there. I was choosing random flavors, so I hope that you like, the options that are there. And also feel free to unmute your video, turn your video on if you want to, although it's no pressure. Don't feel like you have to, but you are more than welcome to if you want to. And then one last sort of logistical kind of thing. The chat feature is disabled on my end. We have lots of firewalls and protections in place, and so we can't chat on here. And so if you post something in the chat, if you could just unmute yourself, I'm happy to, answer any questions and stuff along the way. But let me go ahead and go on to the next slide, and hopefully you can see my screen here. I have sort of an agenda just to kind of give you an idea of what all we'll chat about today. And then also I'll try to share my screen as I show you our university program's website, so you kind of understand how to navigate these tools yourself for after this conversation. And then also I'll share my contact information at the end of this, so you have it, because I would love to stay in touch with all of you and, answer any further conversations you have. We can always have a career conversation offline if that's helpful for you. So yeah, that's sort of all of the logistical pieces of today. But I'll go ahead and take a moment to introduce myself so you know who I am. And then since we have a small enough group, if it's possible, I'd love to hear introductions from you. If it's not possible, because I know some of you are in the same room, then that's okay. We don't have to do that. But essentially, I'd love to know what year are you, what's your major, and then if you're looking for specific opportunities like internships or full-time opportunities, or sort of what you want to go into, I'd love to hear that piece as well. But if you're not sure, then that's also totally fine. So yeah, I'd just love to hear where you're at. So I'll go first. My name is Tyler Davis, and I work with Wells Fargo's university recruiting team as a campus recruiting consultant. And essentially, I partner with schools really all across the US. And I help to develop the relationships with student organizations and career centers and with students like all of you. And, we're just trying to make sure that people know about our opportunities. And that way you all can apply and learn about what all we have to offer here at Wells Fargo. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, but I am based in Atlanta, Georgia, and I just joined the team. So if you're curious about the onboarding process or what it's like to be new at the company, I can absolutely speak to that, being a newcomer. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm sure you'll hear more about me as I go on throughout this conversation today, but I would love to turn it over to you if you all don't mind giving a quick introduction. We'll keep this kind of brief, just try to keep it, to a couple sentences or so. And I don't mind calling names just because I know that kind of makes it easier. So Wang, if you don't mind, I'll start with you.
Sure. Hi, Tyler. So my name is Wang. I'm a senior in mechanical engineering major, and I'll be graduating in May 2022. So I'm very passionate in consulting and technology. So hopefully I can be able to find opportunity in that room.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. Next up is Gerardo. And if I say someone's name wrong, please correct me. It's not going to fit me. I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Gerardo Cavazos. I am a sophomore going for mechanical engineering and looking for an internship.
Awesome, cool, thanks. All right, Gustavo?
Hello, you pronounced my name right, so yeah.
Oh, good.
My name is Gustavo Covarrubias. I'm a senior at industrial engineering, and I graduated in spring 2022 as well. I'm very excited to hear what opportunities are for full-time positions in industrial engineering because I'm interested in operations and stuff like that.
Awesome, very cool. Okay, Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Argamisa. I am a computer science major. I am a junior. I graduated in spring 2023, and I'm interested in learning more about your opportunities in technology.
Awesome, very cool. All right, Carolina.
Hello, my name is Carolina. I am a sophomore chemical engineering student, and I am looking for just internship opportunities. So I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to offer.
Okay, awesome, very cool. Santiago.
Hello, my name is Santiago Ramirez, and I am a sophomore chemical engineering student, and I am interested in looking at your internships.
Oh, okay, very cool. By switching up orders on my screen. So Wayne, I might ask you to help me out here. I think next up is Daisy.
Hello, my name is Daisy Gonzalez. I'm a freshman in computer science. I should be graduating spring of 2025, and I'm just interested in the internship opportunities you have for technology.
Okay, awesome. All right.
Next, we can have Augusto.
Hello there, my name is Augusto Hernandez Rubio. I am completing my master's in statistics and data science, and I'm looking for full-time positions.
Very cool.
That's awesome. And then we do have Alejandro in the room with us.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Lopez. I'm a junior in computer engineering, and I'm interested in the analytical programs Wells Fargo has to offer.
Okay, awesome.
And then we have Angeles here, one of our chair.
Hello. So my name is Angeles. I am my third year majoring in industrial engineering, and I'm interested in hearing more about your internship opportunities.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And lastly, we have our queen, Tami Linda Stoy, our president. All right. She might have some connectivity difficulty. I think we can, yes, you join it later.
Okay, that sounds good. She can always jump in later with an introduction if she's able to connect. Well, thank you all so much for introducing yourselves. It's great to meet you. And that definitely helps me as I sort of talk about our opportunities. It's great to hear that there are both undergraduates and graduates here. We do have opportunities for both. And so I'll try to speak to both of those. And then of course we have internships for sophomores and juniors, and then full-time opportunities for graduating seniors. And so I'll cover all of those things today, and this will sort of be an introductory conversation. And so like I said earlier, I'll share my contact information. And so if I don't get to all of your questions today, I'm happy to stay connected and to have further conversations offline after this conversation as well. So with that being said, I'd like to go ahead and share a different screen with you as I talk about our opportunities. So that way you'll kind of know how to navigate our website yourself. It's okay, but it's not the best, if I'm being completely honest. There are some things that are kind of hidden on there that I'd really like to show you. And so let me see, share the screen. All right. So with our university programs here at Wells Fargo, like I mentioned, we do have internships and we have full-time opportunities, and we have those for both undergraduates and graduates. And so this is really a great way to sort of get your foot in the door with the company, and then also to try out an area and see how you like it. And, you know, maybe there are some things that you really love and you want to keep doing, or if there are some things that maybe you don't love, and, you know, that's a great thing to learn as well. And so it's a good way to get started with the company as a student. And our programs, both our internships and our full-time opportunities, are really structured like 80-20. you're essentially 80% doing the work. So you're really working on real projects with the company, and you're doing the things that someone in a permanent role would be doing. And then 20% you're doing extra professional development and networking and mentorship that's built into our programs specifically for students and recent graduates. And so it's really there to support you. So hopefully you can see my screen now. This is our university programs website. If you Google Wells Fargo University programs, you'll find this. And this is really our dashboard for all things for students and recent grads. And so if you come down here, this is where you'll want to really navigate our different programs. And so you can come down here to undergraduate here. So we have lots of opportunities for undergrads, and then you can see our graduate opportunities here as well. So you'll want to select the one that applies to you. And it's important to note that we have both internships and full-time opportunities in each of these, okay? So if you're a sophomore or a junior, you'll want to look at the internship side of these things. And then if you are a graduating senior, then you'll want to look at the full-time. And then I think we had one master's student who is graduating soon. And so in that case, you would look at our full-time opportunities for graduate students. And I'll show you some of these just as we talk about them. And I know many of you are engineering and technology focused majors. And so I'll really talk about those programs for the most part, but just know that if you're interested in maybe shifting your interests or your career into a different field other than the ones that I talk about, if maybe you are interested in finance, we definitely have opportunities that could help you get into that field as well. So some of our programs don't really have specific majors that you have to be in. You just kind of have to have like a demonstrated interest in finance. And we look at your application holistically. And so don't feel like you have to be a business major or a finance major to get into these roles if they're interesting to you. All right, so I will just click on one of these to show you what it looks like. And I'll click on our technology program because I think this one might be the most interesting to the majority of you. So this program is for undergraduate students, and we have opportunities for juniors or for sophomores and juniors for the summer internship. The wording on the website is a little bit confusing, but essentially if you're a sophomore or junior right now, then you could apply for the summer internship. And then if you are graduating sometime between this December and next May or early June, then you could qualify for the full-time program. And so all of our internships are 10 weeks long and they happen over the summer. So it's just a summer internship. And our goal is for these to be in person again, and we hire to different locations. And so you'll want to come down here and take a look at where all we hire to see if it's somewhere that you're interested in potentially relocating temporarily to. And they typically come with a relocation compensation that's included as well. And so if you do move for an internship or for a full-time role, we're not going to make you spend all of your hard-earned money just on moving. We help you out with that. And so it could be a good way to explore another city as well. So just kind of wanted to put that on your radars. And I think it's really great that they're going to be in person this summer because the networking and the mentorship component that's built into our programs, it's really made for an in-person environment. And that way you get to know your peers and managers and leaders within the company. And so I think it's pretty exciting. And then as far as our full-time opportunities, they really range anywhere from 10 months to 2.5 years. And it just depends on the program. So every program is a little bit different. And some of our programs are rotational, meaning that you will start off in one department and then you transition over to others throughout the duration of the program. and then others are not rotational. So it really depends on which of our programs you're applying for. The technology program is 12 months, and so it's 1 year. But for both our internships and our full-time opportunities, our goal is to convert those from those temporary positions into full-time permanent. And so if you do an internship with us and you do well and you want to join us after you graduate in the summer, our goal is to keep you on. And so we often convert interns into full-time offers for whenever you graduate. And same with our full-time programs. It's a 12-month program, but most of the time people stay on for longer than that, but in an official permanent title, if that makes sense. All right, so this kind of gives you like an overview of, what our programs are. If you're not quite sure what you want to do yet, but you just know that you're interested in opportunities, I would encourage you to go through all of these and just see which ones kind of align with your interests and your background. And then I did want to also highlight our graduate program. So I know one person mentioned that they were finishing up with their master's degree right now, and we have a couple of programs that might be interesting to you. And then also some of you might be getting ready to graduate and might be considering graduate school. And so if you do, I just want to highlight these opportunities. So I'll go to our quantitative analytics program as an example. And so you can see what all majors they, recruit from for this program. The internship similarly is a 10-week program. And then full-time, it's a 12-month program, and it's for like graduating master's students or graduating students. And so you can see all of the locations here. And so it's like the same setup, it's just for master's students. And so just want to highlight that we do have opportunities for you as well. And then the other thing that I want to highlight here on the website is our application dates page. And so this is where things get a little bit tricky. So I want to talk about applying. So right now, almost all of our applications are closed. So if you come here to our application dates page, things look grim here. We do have one internship that's available next or end of this week, November 4th through the 8th. And so it's a really quick window. But if you're interested in opportunities in general and, you just want a summer internship to, get some experience on your resume, or if you're interested in the financial industry, then this is a great one to look into. I would encourage you to check out that application. But I also want to say that just because our applications are closed now doesn't mean that they're not going to be open later. So essentially our applications, they open very early in the semester, some of them before school even starts. And then we accept applications for a very short window. And then we look at those applicants and we make some offers and we interview students. And then we come back to it again, either late in the fall semester or again in the spring semester and sort of reassess where we're at. And so it is very likely that many of these programs will reopen their applications. But right now it's still undetermined which ones and when they will reopen those applications. And so what you can do to stay up to date with, which applications are open or if any opportunities that you're interested in are open, you can fill out this interest form. And so this is not on our website, but I sent a document to Wayne, and so he can share it with all of you. And this is what it looks like. It's our university programs brochure, essentially. And so you can read a description about all of our opportunities, and then you can go to this link, which takes you to this page. So you will fill out your information here. You can upload your resume, and then it's going to ask you which programs you're interested in. And so you'll highlight which ones you would want to apply for if they reopen. And then we will be able to reach out to you if that application does reopen. So that's really the best way to stay up to date. That way you're not having to just come back here and constantly recheck this application dates page. And so I would definitely encourage you to do that if you're interested. in any of our opportunities. And then if you do want to apply, let's say you're interested in our wealth and investment management program, you would just copy this job ID in our Wells Fargo jobs page. And so here's a link here. You would just copy it and then paste it, and then you'll see that application come up once it's November 4th. And that's when you'll see the full job description. All right, I know that's a lot of information. I feel like I've been talking really fast. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions. Are there any questions right now?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So what are the locations for your programs?
Yeah, so we have different hubs that are all across the US, and some of those are flexible, and then others have more specific locations, but they're pretty much all listed on each page. So let's say you're interested in the technology program, you'll see that we hire to like 10 different locations across the US here. And then others, like let's say you do decide to apply for the wealth and investment management internship, you'll see that it has a few locations, but then it says select locations nationwide. And so that really just means that it could vary depending on need. And so you would have the opportunity to talk with the hiring manager about your location preference if you have one throughout the interview process, and if they're able to accommodate. They really do try to take student preference into consideration. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I just thought of too, with the wealth and investment management program, just as a side note, I know some of you are like technology majors, so you may have skills in the things that they're kind of looking for. They actually are looking for students with experience in Python, Tableau, and R. So if you have experience in any of those things, then you might consider applying for this program. And if not, you can definitely apply too. Those skills are not required, but just wanted to put it on your radar if those are skills that you do have.
I have a question too.
Sure.
So I noticed that you mentioned summer internships. Do you guys happen to expect you to have spring co-ops as well?
We do not have co-ops at this time. That's a good question. At least not formally through our university programs. Now, some lines of business within the company, they have like sort of less formal arrangements that are like created. But I am not aware of any right now that are like, you know, that I could really refer you to.
All right, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions? I know many of you are engineering majors and, you know, STEM majors. And so I would definitely encourage you to check out our technology program. Also check out our analytics and data program if data and, you know, numbers really get you fired up. This is a good program, you know, for STEM majors as well. And, you know, if you're interested in sort of integrating like the business side of things into like the technical side of things, this one's a good option. If you're more interested in like those like hard technical skills, then I would encourage you to check out the technology program. And yeah, these are the two that I would highlight, although, you know, you could certainly switch things up and look into our other opportunities as well. All right, and then I also wanted to tell you just about the timeline, just in general. So right now, the best thing to do to find out about when our opportunities are posted is to fill out this interest form here. But for next year, I know someone mentioned they're a first year student. So, you know, our internships are for sophomores and juniors. And then many of you are sophomores. So you're going to be looking for an internship next summer as well. To keep these dates, you know, in your mind, you should know that our technology program, the applications typically open in August. And so it's pretty early in the semester. Some schools haven't even started back yet. So August is a date to sort of keep in mind. And then the majority of our programs open their applications in September.
I see.
Yeah.
So I think I do have the link on the document that you sent.
Okay.
So I'll be able to share that out.
Perfect.
And then everybody else, anyone have any questions?
Hello. So
Hi.
for the operations research as a master's student, what do you think would be like a day by day going forward with this program?
Yeah, absolutely. So with our programs, you're really plugged into, and it's hard to say for day by day for every single program, especially since, you know, I do more like the recruiting side of things and I haven't actually got to experience it myself, but I do know that you're really plugged into the work that the teams within the company are doing. So you are working on projects, and a lot of it is team projects with your peers. Which is great because, you know, you get to work in that team environment and get to know people really well and create those connections. And then very regularly, usually like once a week or so, there's additional components that are integrated, such as like professional development or meeting with our leaders. Like I know this summer, our interns got to meet with the CEO of the company, which is really cool. And, you know, kind of a big deal. And so get to create those connections, and those opportunities are built out for you. And so there's definitely a mixture of things. And I know every role is different, but I'll just say, like, for my role with the university recruiting team, every day is different. I'm never bored. You know, and I have a lot of flexibility over what I'm doing and a lot of autonomy over the projects that I'm working on. And so I think that there's a decent amount of structure that's like built in, but also a lot of flexibility to do the things that interest me the most. So
Nice, thank you. Yeah, I'm guessing there's a lot like an onboarding thing for like things like with Tableau and Python in our lab. So that's really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the quantitative analytics program, and I was wondering if is there a particular type of model that is used, perhaps natural language processing or time series, analyzing time series? What will be the most used in this program? What will be, or an example?
Yeah, that's a great question that I don't currently have the answer to, but I'm going to share my email address with you. If you reach out to me, I can get you connected with the program recruiter who does have that information. And, you know, they sort of know all like the nitty gritty details of what you would be doing and, you know, what programs they use and those sorts of things. And so I could happily get you connected with that recruiter.
Awesome.
And that really goes the same for all of you. If you have a program in mind that you are really, really interested in, and maybe the application's not open right now, if you send me an email, send me your resume, I'm happy to pass it along. And, you know, maybe they know about some other opportunities that aren't really being advertised right now. And so I'm happy to do that for any of you.
That's really awesome. I think I did collect some resume through our RSVP. So hopefully we can, if you guys would like to, I will share the RSVP again so that you guys can submit the resume, and then I will send it to Tyler afterward.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and share my next slide on here. So hopefully you can see it because it has my email address on here. So
Perfect.
feel free to jot that down. So you're all more than welcome to send me an email or connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to be a resource and support you through the process. You know, if you do end up applying, I would love to hear about it. And also, you know, happy to send a note to the program recruiters to let them know that we've met and had a conversation and all of that. So
Awesome. Tyler, by the way, I have a question. For the
Yeah.
corporate risk development program, is it a rotational program where we can be able to try different role within the corporate risk?
Yeah, let me see about the corporate risk program. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I might be able to find it real quick. I don't know off the top of my head. I'll be honest. But I'm glad that you brought this program up because it is great for engineering students as well. And so I am glad that you brought that up. And we do hire in Texas for that program. It's in Dallas, but you know, I know that's not too far. So that's a great program to consider as well. I know they really try to blend you know, the opportunities for that, so they try to give you a lot of exposure to different opportunities within the company. So I would imagine that it's somewhat rotational, but I'm not sure to what extent. If you send me that in a follow-up email though, I can definitely find out.
Sure. And anyone else have any questions? Well, could you please describe to us a little bit more about Wells Fargo culture? What is it like to work at Wells Fargo, and what's it like to work with a team in Wells Fargo?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, like I said, I just joined Wells Fargo back in June, so still pretty new to the company. And just a little bit about my background. Before working at Wells Fargo, I worked in higher education, and so I worked at Georgia Tech for a couple of years, and then I've worked at a few other universities as well. And so honestly, I had never worked within the corporate industry before working at Wells Fargo, and I think I found it a little bit intimidating. Like, you know, I don't know, it's just something that I was unfamiliar with. Wells Fargo, it's a Fortune 500 company, you know, it's humongous and like on a global scale. And so, you know, I was a little bit worried that I would sort of just get looked over and that it would be difficult to make an impact within the company. But that has truly not been the case at all. I feel like I have been pulled into so many interesting projects. And, you know, my supervisor is super supportive, and she's always asking for my input, which I think is really valuable and not something that you necessarily get everywhere. And then just the team that I work with as a whole is really great. We chat every day, we have conversations, and you know, it's nice to have a team that's really all over the US, and you know, we all come from very different backgrounds, and really everyone else on the team that I work with, or the majority of everyone that I work with, has been with Wells Fargo for a long time. Like people who joined like Wells Fargo like when they were like 18 years old or right when they graduated college. And so they've been with the company for like 10 to 15 years. And me being very new, it's great that they don't treat me like I'm like super new, and they know that I have like a unique perspective. And so I like, you know, feeling like I'm heard within the group. And yeah, it's been a great opportunity, and yeah, I really loved it so far. You can probably see that I'm still working at home. So we are remote right now, and the plan is to transition into in-person / hybrid starting next year. So early next year, different groups within Wells Fargo will start going back into the office on a hybrid schedule. And so we'll still get to work from home some, which I think is really the best approach for me personally. And I know it's different for everyone, but I like that, you know, I'll have the opportunity to go into the office and see people other than my dog, but also that I can work from home some too.
That's really awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you
I
very much.
know you all are probably ready to eat pizza, and I know you probably all have classes. I'm more than happy to take more questions, but I don't want to take up your time if y'all are ready to, like, you know, get going. So
I think Gustavo, you have a question?
okay, cool.
Sorry, I was having troubles with my mic. But no, I was just gonna say thank you. That was a very informative session, and that was really good interpretation of what the culture was like for you. I think that was really nice for everyone else to hear and be like, okay, this is how it's like working at Wells Fargo. It's very inviting. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
thanks, Chef, for the pizza.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate having the opportunity to speak with you and hear from all of you. It was so nice to meet you all. I mean it when I say this. Send me an email. I'd love to stay connected or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to, you know, be a resource, whether you're looking for opportunities at Wells Fargo or not. If you need an extra set of eyes to look at your resume, or if you need help preparing for an interview, I'm always happy to be a resource. So don't hesitate to reach out.
That's a really awesome offer. I think not a lot of people can be able to do that. Thank you so much, Tyler. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for coming today. I think we all really appreciate you and the energy that you brings and all the information about Wells Fargo. I think this is the first time ever that Wells Fargo come to engineering school, which is very exciting. Hopefully, more people can be able to know about Wells Fargo, because we always think of Wells Fargo as more of the business side, but now we are understanding that a lot of engineers are in Wells Fargo, either data analytics or, you know, computer science, computer engineer. I think that's really great.
Awesome. Well, that is good to hear. Yeah, we definitely have opportunities for all of you engineering majors out there.
And Augusto, I saw that you unmuted. You want to say something?
No, I was just gonna say thank you. That was it.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Happy to meet you. Happy to chat with y'all today.
All right. Thank you very much, Tyler. Thank you for everything. We really appreciate you, and I'll follow up with you with the resume, and I'll attend the list today.
Okay, awesome. Well, that sounds great. Well, thanks all. Have a great rest of your day and a good
Thank
week.
you very much,
Happy
Tyler.
Monday, everyone.
I'll see you.
Bye.
Goodbye.